What's up guys, I'm Mike Sasser, boudoir photographer in Los Angeles, California. And today I'm going to show you why I use this software Luminar for every single one of the photos that my clients buy. I'm going to show you the exact settings that I use so that you can copy them and some one-click ways to maybe make some of your boring photos a little bit more exciting. Because look, I really want my photos to pop. I mean like pop the way I hit a tennis ball as a kid. Can we just take a moment and appreciate the shirt length to shorts length ratio? All right, so let's go take some pictures to edit.
Next top. Yes, beautiful. Right there is beautiful. Yeah, beautiful right there. Deep breath.
Whoa. Oh my God, I love your image.
This video is sponsored by Luminar. What? Michael's doing a sponsored video? It's actually my very first one. I've gotten literally hundreds of messages, emails, Instagram, I mean everything of a bunch of companies trying to get me to promote their products or review something, and I say no to all of them because it's nothing that I actually use, and I only want to use this channel to share the things that I use personally in my business. And Luminar really is one of those things that I've already used for the past 2 or 3 years for every one of the images that I sell. So when they hit me up, I was like, absolutely, I would love to share more about how I use your program. So I do my base edits in Lightroom. That would be adding my preset. Pro tip, if you want to add your preset in Lightroom before you import it, click on the side and you can say import with preset. I do things like adjusting the exposure, contrast, cropping the photos, straightening them, and then that's it. I'm pretty much done. Time to send them to Luminar. So in the olden days, if we wanted to give this photo a little extra pop, we would have to bring it into something like Photoshop, and we'd brighten her face overall. We'd zoom in nice and close. We'd have to select her eyes and brighten just her eyes and add contrast to just her eyes. This shine right here, we'd have to do another layer to kind of darken this little bit of brightness out. Smooth her face, we've got to either do split frequency or we'd have to do some more masking in that way. Maybe we want to add a little color to her lips so that the lips really pop. All of that has to be done in individual layers, individual masking, and on and on and on, over and over and over. It's exhausting. And you'd have to do that with every single one of the pictures. But with Luminar, it's just a slider. So let's go into edit. All right, so it has all of the tools that you could ever imagine, you could ever want. It's got exposure, it's got contrast, blacks, white, curves, all these things. If you want to do your entire workflow in Luminar, it's got all the power to do that. But we are gonna go to this portrait section down here, and this is where I use it the most. First, let's go ahead and open up the face. I typically try and brighten up my faces. It's pretty much the most important part of my photos, and the area that's brightest or has the most contrast is where your eye goes to the most. And with that, it's just a slider. Look at this, there's no masking, there's no selecting, there's no where is it, adding new layers, it's just a slider. So we're gonna add a little bit of brightness, maybe 0.3. Slim face, don't recommend that you do. She's a person, it's what her face looks like. I think her face looks great. Eyes are gonna be a huge factor here because they're super dark in this area. They're not really getting lit up by the window because our hair is here. So if we want them to pop, normally again, we'd have to go in, we'd have to mask out the eyes, anything like that. But check out this iris flare right here. Look at this little highlight that it gives at the bottom. Let's go into 100% so that you guys can really see this. Okay, without and with. Look at just how much attention it brings to the eyes. Now I think that's a little bit too much. You got iris flare, but then you also have the eye enhancer. When we go ahead and pull this up to full blast, now we've got some color. You can see the catch lights in her eyes more, without and with. Okay, look at that. Holy crap, it just brings it to life. I think the face light is a little too much. Other things you can do, improve eyebrows. You're gonna darken the eyebrows a little bit. You can do dark circles under her eyes. You can bring those up. Red eye removal. Well, eye whitening, I think this one always makes him look like an alien, so I wouldn't do anything too extreme on that. And then we're pretty set for the section on the face. Let's go down to skin. So we select on skin. Now check out the shine removal. Take a close look at her nose and her forehead. Watch what happens when I slide this shine removal to the right. Look at that. It literally takes the shine out of the picture. Normally you would have to do this with something like split frequency. You'd have to go in and select and run your action and all kinds of stuff. And here it's just a slider. So we're just gonna do this to about 50%, just like that. Skin smoothing is another thing that we can add. amount. Let's go ahead and bump this up a little bit. I don't like to do too much on skin smoothing, but this does a really good job of just like, it's smooth, but you can still see the pores in the face. Like whatever you do, don't overdo this stuff, you guys. We want our people to look like people. And that's one of the reasons why I like how Luminar does it, is that it doesn't give them the plastic porcelain, like it just doesn't look natural. Why are people doing this? I don't know. Okay, so one more time, let's take a look at before and after. All right, so that to me is absolutely insane that you can do that with just a couple of sliders in just a few minutes. But that's not really the most amazing part about the software. That's not really the most amazing part about AI in general. The idea that you can one time go through and make an adjustment is great. But what's really amazing is that I can just save this as a preset and it will automatically apply this to all the other photos, which is what AI does. It understands where the eyes are. So any eyes that are in the picture, it's going to go in, it's going to brighten up. Any face that it detects, it's going to brighten that up. Any skin shine that it detects, it's going to darken that down. You don't have to keep updating masks and things like that. It's absolutely amazing. I do a same-day sales session for my clients. So that means after we're done with the boudoir photo shoot, we take an hour break for them to grab a bite to eat, some water, maybe relax a little bit, and I get the photos ready for them to purchase. So I import, I cull, I edit, I run them through Luminar, I export all within an hour so that they can then sit down and come in and just be blown away by their images while they're still on such a high from the photo shoot day. They don't have to wait 2 weeks to come back and to say, okay, you know, like it was fun and I'm excited, but like I don't really remember too much about how that went. I've kind of lost some of the momentum that's going to really get me to want to have all of the pictures. And to be able to do this final touch to go through all the images is just, I mean, it's really been invaluable. So if you want to make any changes to those, you can click on edits and it shows you the different things that you've done with viewing it or not. Here's our face light. It's so great. You go back to tools, and then of course you can save these out as presets. So my presets, I've got one for clients. So if I double click this, it's going to basically do just a slightly less intense version of what we put together so that I could show you guys how to do. So let's go to edit and let's see exactly what I use for my clients. So we'll go into edits. Okay, amount of skin smoothing, 49, amount of shine removal, 42. Under face, we've got face light is at 20. For eyes, we've got flare at 50, eye enhancer at 70, dark circles and improve eyebrows here. And then under the mouth, I have a little bit of saturation as well for the lips, for the redness and the saturation so that they get a little bit more pop as well. And if we do a before and after, so good. So feel free to just copy and use this on your own photos. Like I want you guys to have the best quality work and to not be worried that did I do it too much or did I not do it enough, or is this going to help my pictures look better? Like this absolutely will do that. So after we've done that, let's go back to the catalog. We're gonna go to edit, copy, then we're gonna select all, and then we're gonna go to edit, paste. And now you can see the little icon up here that will have pasted all of the different settings into your other picture. So let's go ahead and bring this one up so we can see without and with. This is like some high-end retouching stuff. Look at the smooth transition everywhere in her face here. And if we do it without, you can see the harshness in the contrast through all of these tonal changes. And Luminar is literally doing all of the work for us. Look at this highlight that would have been something that I would have to take care of by hand, but nope. Let's go here. Will it recognize one eye instead of two? Let's see. Yes, absolutely. Again, look at the tonal changes in her eye here. Look at the softness in the shadow. Brightens up her face. For me, the way that I use it, it's that last 10% that takes it from like, yeah, this is okay, to like, wow, that's got pop, that's refined, that really looks professional. And it does it in a matter of seconds for all of the pictures. So I just use it on every portrait photo I do. Then I just want to show you one more little incredible thing that it does. So again, in this idea of batch editing, if you want all of the background to be darker in your image so that your subject really pops, Luminar has this new relight tool, which basically detects what's close to your camera and what's far from your camera. It can adjust the brightness on those things individually, automatically, and then can be applied to all of your photos. So if you like your subject to be much brighter in the picture than your backgrounds, you don't want to go in and hand darken everything, you just come in here to relight, and under brightness far, it's going to detect what's far away from the camera. and we can just darken that down. So great. We'll just bring it down a little bit and you can see how much she pops in this photo now and how much she stands out and how natural it looks. So again, feel free to save that as a preset, be able to use that on your photos. Maybe you didn't have that much control over the light at your shoot, and this is a way to make it seem as though you brought a light as a way to separate your client from the background. Okay, so that's what I love about what's so powerful about Luminar. Now, if you want to get a little bit more creative with what you're doing, I'm gonna use this other photo to explain. All right, I wanna show you some of the other cool things that it can do if you feel like your photo's like a little bit boring or it needs a little bit more pop outside of that. Check this out. So if you remember in the last video that I posted, the shoot that I did in Paris, France, there was a chandelier hanging from the ceiling, which was amazing. I hopped up and I shot through these little crystals and it gave me this cool ethereal depth. And that's awesome, but you might not always have access to a chandelier hanging. Luminar has these layers over here on the left, and in them, you can immediately add whatever sort of like these dimensional effects are going to be. Here you can see it doesn't fill up the whole thing, so instead we can click on fill, and it's going to go the whole thing. You can do stretch, but now we've got a little bit more dimension. You can change the blend mode. This is really cool. Let's do another one. How about something with this bright red? We'll do the same thing, we'll stretch it. Now we've got a total, like, there's like depth that we're seeing in the picture, something's in front of the lens. It's a little bit more dreamlike, and it's really simple to do. You can just go to town on these sparklers. I mean, I'm not gonna go too nuts, but in a bunch of different scenarios, something like this could add that extra level of pop. And I love that they're like already built in and you can just add them in. It's great. Let's mute those for now because I've definitely been in a situation where I haven't had enough separation from the background. I think this is gonna be a really good photo to show this example. She's standing out really well against the green, which is amazing. If you're in a situation where you want even a more blurry background, you again used to have to mask it out and do some sort of like crazy lens flare or blur. All right, let's just come down to portrait bokeh. We're just gonna grab the amount and we're just gonna do something pretty extreme. Look at the mask that it just created. Is like so good. It's so dialed in. Now that to me is the most natural looking bokeh I've ever seen. The way that it does the highlights and it kind of mutes them. I mean, it really is incredible. There are some places around here, around her hair, if we zoom in. Let's do 50% here. You can see that it's blurred out some of the extra little frolicking hairs. Frolicking hairs? I don't think that's what that's called. But to change that, all we're gonna do is brush over this area. And when we come off, now we're gonna see a nice soft, we can see that there now as well. Same here. We're gonna just capture some of this arm. We don't want it to do it in there. Let's see this. So that's just, to me, that's just pretty magical. Now, again, I wouldn't do it that much, maybe 20. But you can see how quickly and easily you'll be able to kind of get some depth separation from the background of your photos. So for me personally, these are all of the ways that I have used and will use Luminar for my photos. But they have a couple of other things in their software that I want to show you. And one of them is their new noiseless AI plugin. Now, if you followed my work for any amount of time, you know that I shoot in a pretty bright place. I'm always shooting during the day. The cameras that I'm shooting with do really well with high ISO. So for my work, this hasn't been something that's really been prominent. But sometimes when I travel, I do find myself in the situation where I'm shooting something at night. And here we went to Joshua Tree. My girlfriend and I went to Joshua Tree this year, and I wanted to take some pictures by the fire, and tons of noise, tons of noise. I think I'm shooting this at 12,800 ISO. It's not ideal, but with this new noiseless AI, let's see how it does. So what we're gonna do is select it, and we've got a couple of different modes here. It's giving us advice to use the high adjustment on this. Okay, I guess we have a lot of noise. Let's go ahead and click high. It's going to do its whatever AI stuff and make a super, super smooth image there. So here's before and after. Now I could imagine this being sharper. So let's go to develop, And we'll go to sharpness and we'll bring the sharpness back a little bit. Let's do before and after. You can even see some color that's been added into her eyes. Let's go up to 200. Sorry for my 12 megapixel camera. This is my Sony a7S III. And I pretty much use that camera when I travel because the video out of it's so good. I'm shooting video on it right now. The 10-bit blows me away, but it's only 12 megapixels. So seriously, if we do before and after, I mean, there's new detail on her eyelids. There's new detail in her eyes. What can I say? It's very impressive. And lastly, they've got a few more extensions coming out later. Like I mentioned, I'm doing most of my travel photos on this 12 megapixel camera. And so I'm always nervous when I go, like, will 12 megapixels be enough resolution to blow up really huge pictures? We went to Greece this summer and it's like, this is as zoomed in as I get and it's not necessarily that clear. You know, for landscape, it's absolutely beautiful, but I wish that I had more megapixels sometimes. And so Luminar has one of the extensions coming out. It's going to be something called Upscale AI that's supposed to allow you to upscale images just massively. So that'll be something that I'm excited that I can go back through all my travel photos and just run all of my images through this upscaling software. It'll be great. And one more thing that's out now, HDR merge. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't done an HDR photo in, oh man, probably over 10 years, probably somewhere around 10 years since my last HDR photo. So it's not for me, but if you are into HDR photography, this is one of their new tools. So should you buy a Luminar Neo? Well, speaking for myself, I bought a Luminar when it was Luminar 4 and I've used it on every photo that I've sold since. So it's been a real game changer for me as far as being able to get the eyes to pop, skin to smooth, faces to brighten, and allow me to show a higher quality image to my clients when they come in for their photos all in the same day. The time that it's saved is just like, if you add that up over the number of shoots that I do a year, is immense. So yeah, for portrait photographers, I think it's a no-brainer. Or honestly, if you're a landscape photographer and using things like the HDR merging and the noiseless AI plugin, and even some of the things that are coming out later, like the Upscale AI, I think there's a lot of features that are gonna be really useful. So if you think having these tools will be as useful to you as they have been for me, then check out the link in the description for a discount code. It'll save you a little bit of money. And as a bonus, 𝐶𝐈LM, the company who makes Luminar, is a Ukrainian company, and they have been donating to the Ukrainian efforts over the last little bit, which I absolutely love. All right, now with all this time I saved from using Luminar, I'm gonna go in and make myself a sandwich with some brioche bread. You guys do brioche bread? In the comments, mention brioche bread and I'll know that you made it to the very, very, very end of this video. This will be a real treat for me. But seriously, I'm pretty hungry.